All right, our next team in is the number one overall seed in the tournament. Obviously, the number one team seeded in the region as well, the South Carolina Gamecocks, represented today by head coach Don Staley, student athletes Aaliyah Boston and Destiny Henderson. Coach, if you would, please make an opening statement.
Just excited to get started. Got a chance to feel the energy in the building. Last night watching UIW and Howard, and it was kind of cool to be back in the building and have fans in the building and watch a pretty good, well-executed game by both teams. But finally, we get a chance to know who our opponent is, and we're pretty excited to get things going.
And this time we'll open up questions for the student athletes, please. David with the first one.
How's it going, Destiny?
Hey.
You all have talked all year about the national championship being your goal. Now it's here. I mean, any change in feeling in the locker room about tomorrow? It's really starting.
Our goals are still the same. Nothing in that aspect changes. Just our perspective coming into the game and just, not thinking that we're going to win every game, but just to take every game seriously and just take every game one game at a time and just really dial in and be collective as a unit and just ready to play each game.
Brett?
For Aaliyah, in your career, you've done a lot of great things here, been part of a team that's done a lot of great things, but you haven't been able to play a home NCAA tournament game here. With all the setup here now, what does that mean to you to be able to do this in your own building?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. Can't wait to see the atmosphere tomorrow when we come in and just ready to get the tournament started.
Rick Henry?
This is for both of you. At the SEC tournament, the last two games there, taking the foot off the gas in those last two games in the fourth quarter. Tell me, what have you been doing in practice? What has been the emphasis on making sure that you keep your foot on the gas here throughout the tournament?
Go ahead, Destiny.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just feel like those last two games wasn't our best games. I feel like coming into practice after those games, I feel like we've just been going even harder or just getting extra reps in. I feel like the momentum and the energy in practice has been different coming into this tournament. So I feel really good. I'm pretty sure my teammates feel really good about this tournament. So I just feel like the energy is just different for us.
Aaliyah?
I also agree with that. I think we've just been putting a lot more on ourselves, making sure that we're staying up to playing how we need to play the entire four quarters and just making sure that we focus on that.
Joe?
Aaliyah, for you, what inspired you to write what you recently did in the Players Tribune, keeping the main thing the main thing? And if you could explain to people at home, when did that phrase really start to resonate with you, and how much did Coach play a part in that phrase becoming something you hold on to?
Yeah, I mean, Coach told us that that phrase, keep the main thing, and she's been telling us that all year, and so I just felt like that fit perfectly right into the story just because the main thing has been to bring home a national championship back to South Carolina, and now the tournament's starting, and so that just needs to continue to remain the same.
Augusta?
Destiny, just for you, I mean, as a senior going into your last March Madness with South Carolina, what does it mean to you to play on your your best right now and the smile that you have on your face? Just kind of what does all this mean for you, and what's your goal going into it?
It's super exciting. Like, this is my first time being in this type of situation where I'm playing on my home court. It's bittersweet. I'm ready to get it rocking, but at the same time, I'm gonna miss everything that comes along with it. But I just feel like my aspect of coming into the game, I'm just really excited. I'm gonna give it my all and just take it one step at a time.
Huh?
Math is hurting you right now.
Is that first time
2018.
hosting?
Because 2019 we were in Charlotte, and then 2020
That.
we turned in 2019.
That. Oh, got you.
Blocked it out, right? Sorry, honey, she was looking at me like you were crazy.
Any other questions from the floor? We got Mike Gillespie in the back.
For both you guys, 11-0 against the top 25. Is this the most prepared you think you've felt for a deep run in the NCAA tournament since you got here?
Aaliyah, why don't you go first?
I think every year we've been pretty prepared. I think our non-conference schedule this year was pretty tough, and we did pretty well. And so I would say that we're very prepared, but every time it's been the same deal.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like we're always prepared. We just got to keep that mindset as we're just trying to persevere through, things and just finish out strong.
Corey?
Destiny, for you, obviously being the floor general out there, at what point in a game do you find yourself searching for that opportunity to turn it up offensively and then maybe dial it back a little bit and then maybe you pick it up defensively? I guess just kind of take us a little bit into your mindset of how do you sort of feel a game out as you're out there playing?
I'm very calm and collected majority of the time. Now that you asked that question, it's kind of like it just happens. I really don't think about it sometimes, or sometimes I probably do, but I just feel like when a game is on the line, of course I'm gonna want to turn the page and try to make something happen for the team just to get the win at the end of the day. So that's just really my mindset from here on out. Just try to do everything that I could in the given moment to win the game.
Any other questions for the student athletes from the floor? We got a couple over here.
Aaliyah, when you hear the seniors kind of talk about what it means to them to be able to go out like this, I guess as a junior, what does that do for you? Do you kind of take on that same motivation that they have, or as a junior, is it something different?
No, I think it's the same as the seniors. I mean, they want to go out, bringing home a national championship, and that's definitely my mindset as well. And so that's what I'm also focused on, just making sure that I can do everything I can to help the team and so that we can be the last team standing.
Augusta?
And then for both of y'all, I just wanted to ask, how much is team cohesion and obviously your chemistry? I mean, even up here during the press conferences, you can just tell you really want to play for each other. Just how much does that play into the success that y'all have had? And, how much is it that you guys just want to win for each other?
Aaliyah, why don't you take that one?
I think it's very important. Actually, right before we had film, we were just talking about, Zai actually said if you want to win bad enough, then nothing's going to get in your way. And I feel like that's our mindset. We just want to win, and we all have the same goal of just winning it all. And so it just helps us to play better.
I agree. I just feel like being on the same page makes it a little bit easier. You don't really have to worry about, people thinking about other things. If you're all on the same page and you want to win, I feel like it just puts you in a position just to play hard, and that you guys are playing for each other.
Joe?
For either of you, I'm curious, how much do you draw on past experiences, good or bad, heading into this tournament? And how much do you embrace a windshield mentality, just looking at what's in front of you and the goals that are remaining?
Destiny, why don't you go first this time?
Speaking on past experiences, our last two games wasn't our best. So, that's something that we felt in the moment, but it ain't something that we're going to keep relying on and bring into what we got going right now. So, just, turn the page, let it go, and just now in this present moment, just to give it your all and do everything you can, to bring home the national championship.
I also agree. Past games, no matter what's happened, I mean, this is new tournament, and here we go. It's time to rock.
Time to dance.
Thank you. Oh, that was good. Time to dance. I take it back. Time to dance.
Joe?
This is kind of just a random question for the players. Sitting in and listening to Incarnate Word and Howard having their press conference on Tuesday, it was interesting to kind of hear the players. I think one of them actually said they were kind of fangirling a little bit, being able to be in Columbia, playing South Carolina in South Carolina's facility. What does it mean to you as players to kind of be a role model to people that are playing the exact same sport, the exact same level to you? What does that mean to kind of have that representation and be someone that fellow players can look up to?
Aaliyah?
Yeah, it means a lot, and I also just want to give a lot of credit to Coach Staley because it also shows what she's built and the kind of program she has and how people just look at us and they're just like, wow. And so it's just a really special feeling. And good job, Coach.
I agree.
Corey?
For both of you ladies as well, I guess, Lee, if you don't mind answering first, and then we'll go Destiny. But
We don't need you,
obviously,
Steve. You don't need you, Steve.
I'm just trying to help Feek out. Obviously, Dawn and her coaching staff obviously built this team into a national championship contending team. But I'm curious for you guys as the players, what do you feel like makes you guys a national championship contender, and what needs to happen in order for you guys to see that out?
I think it just.
Wasn't good. It's good for Jim and Mark.
Sorry.
I think it's all about just having the same goal, making sure that we're all on the same page, and the coaching staff has just done a great job of helping us to be able to get there. I think we have a lot of depth on our team, and everybody that steps on the floor produces something positive, which can only help us move forward. And so I definitely think that's going to help us throughout the entire tournament.
I agree. I feel like just being coachable and not having the coach effort is a great mindset because, you know, you're going to step on the floor and you're going to do what you need to do at the end of the day to get the job done. I just feel like the coaches have done a great job recruiting just great players, and I feel like everybody on our team means something to the team and have a role in our team, and that's just what it is.
Go to the third row here.
Obviously, you didn't know who you were going to be playing until last night, but everything here's been kind of big picture. But just on tomorrow, is there anything specifically that kind of jumps out about Howard when you turn on the tape and look at tomorrow's matchup? Have you even seen much of them yet?
Destiny?
Oh, he changed it up. They play fast, shoot threes. They want to get out. They press. That's all something that we take in consideration. A lot of teams have been trying to press us lately, so that's something that we've really been working on in practice to try to break the press and continue our offense because a lot of teams want to slow us down in transition.
Aaliyah?
They're also a great rebounding team, and so we got to make sure that we're boxing out and just continue to be physical.
We do have one question on Zoom from Esteban.
Hi there, Leah. Thank you. This one's for you. I'm actually calling in from Massachusetts, and I was wondering, how connected are you still to Worcester, and how excited are you to represent them on such a big platform on the #1 overall team in the tournaments?
Yeah, I'm still very connected to Worcester. My aunt still lives there, and a lot of my old coaches, and they've all been texting me and just continuing to encourage me, and so I'm just really glad that I'm able to help represent them.
And one more from Bill Kaiser. Bill, you need to unmute yourself.
There we go. Sorry about that. Hi, Aaliyah, ladies. This is for both of you. You talked earlier about, the big picture, trying to keep your focus ahead and not look back too much. But Dawn at times has referenced the past, especially the Missouri game, in, I guess, when she sees that you're not putting forth the full effort. Have you seen that as well? And what do you think about it? And how has that helped motivate you and keep you focused towards the big goal?
I feel like it helps motivate me because if we are slacking, just hearing, the Missouri game or any other game that I feel like we didn't play our best, just puts a different type of chip on your shoulder, and it makes you turn the page and go harder because at the end of the day, I've always just wanted to win, and I'm sure my other teammates felt that as well. So just mentioning the Missouri game, it just hits different for a lot of us for many different reasons, and I just feel like it just makes us go even harder.
Aaliyah?
I agree.
We'll let the student athletes go.
Thank you.
This time.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
And we'll open up for questions for Coach Staley. Please
Thirsty,
raise your
but
hand.
there's a little bit of water in here. I don't trust it.
David?
Just a little bit. Thanks.
Did you Peloton this morning? Did you Peloton this morning?
I didn't. I had to get up too early.
Dawn, it was about this time last year we found out Lily wouldn't be able to play in the tournament. Just what does it mean for you to have this other chance for her, and how excited is she to be getting to play in this tournament after last year?
Anytime that you sustain the type of injury that she sustained and it prevents you from participating in the NCAA tournament in your last year, you feel really bad. And Lily had a choice to not come back or to come back, and she chose to come back, and she's helped us put us in a situation where we're starting the NCAA tournament in a different way, in a more normal way, where we get the chance to host the first and second rounds. And I think she sees things coming full circle, and hopefully it ends a lot better than it did last year.
What does she mean to this team?
Lily, you can't get to where you are as a program without having leaders who've been in your program. This is her 5th year, and she knows the good, the bad, the ugly of it, and she knows how to navigate through it, and she knows how to be the example of how to navigate through it. And I think she's helped some of our younger players really understand that what you're feeling today is not what you're going to feel for the rest of your career, and she's helping them get through it. And then it's the experience. You just know. It's like, you're putting on your old faithful pair of jeans that just fit in all right places, that got all the what do you call that? The wallet creases and all of that. Yeah. So Lili's just like that. She plays. Sometimes she plays a whole lot. Sometimes she doesn't play a whole lot. But it's great comfort in knowing that she's always there when you need her.
Michael Espy.
Don, this team has been obviously battle-tested, 11-0 against the top 25. I think that's the most wins against the top 25 since Tennessee in the 90s. I'm wondering, from somebody who's played and coached in the NCAA tournament, does that translate? How does that help in the postseason?
Just helps by having really good questions to ask like now, but you don't really take that into it. We've won them, but each game in the NCAA tournament brings a different, it just brings a different mentality. The stakes are a little bit higher no matter, what round it is. When you're playing those type of games throughout the season, you're going to see another day. Whether you win or lose, you're gonna get back up, and you're going to continue, the habits that you've created. But here now, your habits have to be on display. Every single game, every single practice, in and out through your day, you have to create those habits because, March is known as madness for a reason. It's a notch in our belt, but it's certainly not anything that we're going to hang our hats on to say it's going to propel us, to beating Howard tomorrow afternoon.
And we got Joe, then Rick.
Don, when you see Aaliyah embrace one of your prominent sayings, keep the main thing, and really take it to heart, own it, and put it out there for everyone to know, what does that mean to you as a coach to see one of your star players really embrace your philosophy on the biggest of stages?
Yeah. The star player, they're the star player because they listen, they learn. It's the other ones that don't really buy into it when you're really coaching. We came up with that phrase because there is a whole lot of things that pulls at our players. You got NIL deals, you got friends, you got social media, you got all these things that are a part of their life, and they should be because they're young, they're navigating, it's transformational time in their life, but they got goals. And if you got a goal of winning a national championship, then you got to prioritize, and that priority is winning a national championship, and there's nothing else. I know our academic people will say, I've been asked that question, on my podcast. I didn't think about academics, and if we had study hall, I wasn't thinking about what was in front of me. And it's just hard. We are the ultimate compartmentalizers to a certain extent. When it's this time, when everything that you turn on the, television, you ride in your car, everybody's talking about March Madness, and when you're a team that is projected as one of the teams that could win, it just heightens it even more. So it takes your focus to that, and that is the main thing right now. And I know Aaliyah and everybody else really buys into the phrase of keeping the main thing the main thing.
Rick Henry?
Don, going back to the first year that you had a team that got to play NCAA tournament games here in the CLA, what was your level of excitement and anticipation along with the teams, and how does that compare to now? Because you have so many of your players that this is going to be a first-time experience for them.
Yeah, I sit back and I think it really is a huge advantage when you're able to host. It doesn't mean that you don't have to show up and play the games, but it creates a huge advantage. And I think for the times that I've come in this league, the SEC, it was always, rest his soul, Commissioner Slive. Commissioner Slive would come into our spring meetings, and he used to be mad because we would ask for the world, right? We would ask, we want this, this, this. And he's like, well, I got you a television deal. Put some people in the stands. Like, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good on TV. Like, you need to go back on your campuses and you need to work. And you need to put people in the stands. And we've done that, at a, on a large scale. And I think, some coaches, I looked at some social media posts, some coaches, they're like, when do we move to, our game has grown to having a neutral sites during this time. And I'm like, we've built this fan base. We should be rewarded. And this is the reward of building a strong fan base. And when everybody's caught on to it, to building that strong fan base, I know if we move to a neutral site during these rounds, the stands will be filled because they're gonna want to watch their teams perform. So I just think that's been the carrot that's been dangling in front of us ever since the NCAA decided that the top 16 will host. Have we moved? Has our game moved to the point of neutral sites? I think it's doable. But is there room for the people that host the 16, teams that host? Is there room for them to put more people in the stands? Absolutely. So, we got to grow at the same time. If we're going to push neutral sites, we got to push, having people in the stands and making it look like a, tournament that's worth watching, or that's worth getting in the building to see.
Corey?
Dawn, with what Letitia was going through at the time of the end of her high school career, why was it important for you guys to help get her here early? And then two, just with you guys, I guess formulating that support system around her that early on during her time here, how much do you feel like that's helped her just really flourish as not only a basketball player, but maybe as a person as well?
LA tore her ACL in high school, like a junior year in high school. And, in recruiting her, she was telling us what she had to do to rehab. It's an hour and a half it's an hour and a half back, and then school in between. And when she did it her senior year, we're like, what can we do? Like she couldn't, she wouldn't be able to do that. She's a great student. Like she put herself in a position where, and then we're talking early December of her senior year. We're like, let's do the football thing. That's the first thing came to mind. Let's bring it early, like football. How does football do it? Well, they graduate. They graduate early, and luckily she's a great student that she only needed, like I think she needed 2 courses, and they were, she had to complete it within 2 weeks because she had to get in school here. And it was all her. Like, if she wasn't a great student, it wouldn't be possible. So she set the stage prior to even having been in that situation. But to come here in the middle of the season, I thought it was hard. It's really hard. I mean, friendships have been established. She was probably the lone, like, thinking, why did I do it? But now that she's 2 years, 3 years removed from it, she was like, it's probably the best thing. Like, she's going to graduate I think she's going to graduate in December, and she's going to start grad school. So it's overall helpful. She's got a voice on our campus. I mean, she does so much than play the game of basketball. She does that at a high level, but she does everything else in her life at a high level. So I think overall it helped her, but she's mature enough to handle it.
Augusta?
Hey, Dawn, I wanted to ask your thoughts around Frank Martin and the men's basketball program parting ways. Just, have you had any conversations with him since this happened, and what's it like seeing a colleague, leave a program here at South Carolina?
No, I haven't. I did send him a text message. Like, I sent all of his assistant coaches text messages. I mean, it's hard. I mean, I've known Frank and his family for 10 years. And again, it's like putting those jeans on. It's like, having this, the same person come. We are creatures of habit. We like the comforts of, who we have close to our program. And, I know Frank, he loves it here. He loved his players. He loves his players. He's always going to be in their lives. I think the bottom line, it's a tough call. I think Coach Tanner had a tough call. And that is just being in our business. There's a certain look that people want, and if you don't give it to them, it's the next man up, and that's the way it is. And I know Frank knows that, better than all of us.
Jeffrey?
Dawn, there are 12 black women coaches in this year's NCAA tournament, double from last year. Do you feel like this is progress? Do you feel like that you've helped this progress, and these opportunities progress for African American women? And then, Coach Grace at Howard has a piece of your net and is, says wonderful things about you. Have you adjusted to this role of being a statesman or someone people look up to, as opposed to trying to work your way up through this profession?
I mean, I don't think I'm the common denominator in, the success of black coaches. I think opportunity is that. And when you give people opportunity that don't often get it, and they're successful, this is kind of what happens. I think it's popular now. Like, it was popular probably I don't know when Coach Law got the Illinois job. Like, a lot of black coaches got opportunities during that time, and then probably 3 or 4 years later, probably 75% of them weren't head coaches anymore, and they don't get recycled like other coaches. So I think now black coaches are more prepared because they've had to be prepared. They saw what happened. They saw what happened to Coach Law and that trend of coaches that got an opportunity, and they've just prepared well. I think Ty's done a great job with Howard and the way she coaches, the discipline. You can see it. I think she's a star in the game, and I know we don't want to take her from Howard, but obviously when you're a competitor, you want to compete at the highest level. And not to say that Howard isn't the highest level, but there's more. Like, when I was at Temple, I got to a point where I was enjoying it. And then you get to a point where you keep losing in the first and second round, and you're like, man, this sucks. Like, I want to win. Seriously, like, it wasn't anything against Temple and my players there. It was just, if I'm going to be in it, I want to win. and sometimes you have to put yourself in a position where you can attract better talent. You know, you can coach. Like you know, coming to the SEC helped me be a better coach because of the coaches that I faced and what you have to do to learn. You know, but it's performing. I mean, performance matters, production matters, and Ty is doing a great job with it.
Chris.
I just wanted to know your opinion on the first four and if your opinion changed after seeing what the game meant to the teams last night. And also if you could tell us a little bit about the handshake line for UIW and meeting them this morning.
I actually I wasn't a fan of the first four until you know you're in it. That's why I'm glad people don't listen to me. It was awesome, you know, and I don't when I said I wasn't a fan of it, I didn't really visualize the people, the young people, you know, the coaches, and the storylines that came out of it. Like you know, the young lady from UIW, what she said about fangirling and being in our arena, you know, like that's pretty darn cool. And I mean, shamefully admitting that I didn't want that to happen, but I'm just like, I'm glad, you know, that the powers that be thought this was a great thing to do for our game, and I'm happy. I think it's you know, because of what I heard, you know, we were at the game, and I'm just like, you know, how cool it would be for us to just go congratulate them as they were coming off the floor. And then the coach sent a tweet out, like, you know, people wanted to take pictures. We're going to be at the statue at 8:45. And I'm like, I mean, I'm usually up, so let me just go. I went and took pictures, and, you know, the young lady that said she was fangirling, she didn't fangirl while she was at the statue, but then she put on social media that she got it done. And so I think it's just pretty cool, you know. Met the coach, Jeff, for the first time, and, you know, he said in his 32 years of coaching, he's never been on a charter flight except to come here. Like, that is what this game is supposed to be about, just giving an experience like no other. And, you know, I know they didn't win the game, but they won something much bigger than a game, and that is them being able to experience what they got to experience here, you know, in our arena, in our city, in our state.
We're running short on time. We'll take one last one here.
Yeah, just kind of the same thing I asked the players, but you watched the game last night. When you pop in the tape on Howard, what kind of jumped out about them, and what kind of challenge do you think they're going to present tomorrow afternoon?
Yeah, the pressing jumps out. The rebounding presses sticks out. The 1-2 sticks out. It's not a thing where we think we're just gonna just roll the ball out and beat them. We prepare for every opponent the same exact way, and that is we cross our T's and dot our I's. There isn't anybody that we disrespect in this game because it is March Madness. But, you know, for as long as I've been a player and now a coach, that's one thing I've never done, and I've, you know, won't allow anybody else to disrespect any of our opponents. But formidable opponent that can shoot it, that can rebound the basketball, that can defend. And when you have that combination, on any given day, anybody can win.
Unfortunately, we're out of time, so we'll have to let Coach go on, and I apologize for those who had questions that we didn't get to.
Thank you.
Just a reminder that a recording of this press conference is available in the NCAA Digital Media Hub at www.ncaa.veritone.com. Transcripts are provided by ASAP and will be posted shortly. And thank you all for joining us, and we'll be back shortly with the USF. I was hoping to get to the USA Today guy, but her answers were